While there are numerous oil producers out there that are going to produce profits in the current commodity market, that's not exactly what we're looking for. We want the profits, but more specifically, we want the companies that are producing profits in the most environmentally friendly manner possible. We're looking for oil companies that are environmentally friendly first. ESG is important. Environment, social governance. That's what we want. We want companies that are being responsible and sustainable with their oil production. And I've done the research, and I've got 3 companies for you that I believe will pique your interest. Alright, so I know you're not going to believe me, but months ago when I started researching for this video, I had written down this company on a piece of paper saying this is one of the companies we need to talk about. And at the time, the price was hovering super low. I thought it was an immense value. And then I recorded this video, and then while I was editing it, the stock went absolutely parabolic. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. It's now like 40% higher than what it was when I originally recorded this video, so I had to redo the video. Why? Because Warren Buffett decided to buy 140 million shares of this oil and gas company. Damn it, I should have edited faster. Anyways, the company I'm talking about is Occidental Petroleum, otherwise known as Oxy. Oxy has positioned themselves as one of the carbon capture leaders of the United States, specifically with a form of carbon capture known as direct air capture. This technology allows for facilities with specialized fans and turbines to capture air and then separate carbon dioxide from breathable clean air and then pump that carbon dioxide directly into the ground while releasing the clean air back into the atmosphere. This technology is vital for Oxy and their ambitions to be net zero by 2040, which is essentially a full decade ahead of their peers who are more or less targeting 2050 for their net zero ambitions. What's most interesting, however, from an investment standpoint, is that Oxy has a subsidiary known as Oxy Low Carbon Ventures, which has set out to create partnerships and alliances with other carbon producers and basically anybody using oil in industry in order to reduce their emissions utilizing the technologies that Oxy is actively developing. This provides their core business with incredible growth potential, as other businesses have to begin complying with stricter and stricter government regulations with regards to carbon capture and emissions. This allows these companies to turn to someone like Oxy to help facilitate the technologies they need in order to be carbon neutral as per required by their governments. And we're not just talking about oil and energy producers. There are so many industries in this world that are carbon intensive. You have maritime shipping from sea to sea that is incredibly carbon intensive. You have the airline industry, and all these industries eventually will have to fall in line with government mandated ESG pressures, ESG mandates, and the result of that is they'll have to turn to someone like Oxy to facilitate those requirements, and that can help their bottom line. For these reasons, Occidental Petroleum represents a very interesting launching point for those researching environmentally friendly oil and gas companies that might have a pivotal role in the ESG future. And the second company we're talking about today is Whitecap Resources. Whitecap Resources is a mid-cap Canadian oil and gas producer that is the first net negative carbon producer that I have ever seen. In fact, based on their operation statistics, Whitecap Resources actually sequesters and puts more carbon into the ground than it produces in its entire operations, and that is an impressive thing. Essentially, Whitecap Resources actually captures more carbon than it emits, which is incredible, and it's something that you're looking for if you want to invest in an environmentally friendly oil and gas company. Whitecap's identity is essentially predicated on their commitment to be a sustainable and ecologically friendly producer. The way their carbon capture technology works is as follows. They essentially capture carbon from the air and they inject it deep within the oil reservoir itself. That actually improves the efficiency of their ability to extract the oil. As they extract the oil, they actually then separate it from oil and carbon dioxide. They then take the oil and, well, they sell it. And the carbon dioxide, they actually inject back into the ground. They actually send it 1.5 kilometers into the ground, 1,500 meters underneath impermeable rock to ensure that it'll never actually see the light of day again. It'll permanently be stored underground for eternity and therefore never actually reach the atmosphere. That is how they're net negative. From an investment standpoint, there can be a benefit to investing in small and mid-cap stocks that are going to see a large rise in their price thanks to a very favorable commodity price. In the case of Whitecap Resources, however, what makes them unique is the potential for upcoming favorable legislation. While unconfirmed as of recording, it is believed that the Canadian federal government is working on a carbon credit style system where they will be rewarding oil and gas producers for adhering to their new ESG guidelines. With Whitecap Resources already being a net negative producer, they are well positioned to take advantage of such incentives, which will help their overall profitability. Ultimately, Whitecap Resources represents a phenomenal opportunity for those looking for a long-term mid-cap investing opportunity. It is a great place to start your investment research while looking for environmentally friendly oil companies. And finally, while I know I'm not going to win anyone over by shouting out one of the largest oil and gas producers in North America, we got to give credit where credit is due, and ExxonMobil has done a tremendous amount of work in improving their climate change solutions. Similar to that of Whitecap Resources, Exxon utilizes a form of carbon capture technology that sequesters carbon dioxide deep in the ground. Theirs is called carbon capture and storage. In fact, according to Exxon themselves, they have captured over 120 million metric tons of carbon over the course of their carbon capture operations. What's more interesting is, counter to what many might believe, Exxon is taking steps to encourage political change that would benefit the adoption of carbon capture and storage technologies, which would not only benefit the overall environment, but them as well, as technologies they provide could be used to help others meet ESG regulations and net zero initiatives. This proactive approach is exactly what the oil and gas industry needs. They need to be proactive with the government in order to encourage the adoption of ESG and net zero measures, which will allow for a much greener future for all. We need this because, well, we need energy, we need fuel. It's a vital component of our future, and it will be for decades to come. As we mentioned prior, the oil price will continue to rise as supply simply cannot keep up with demand. And as we move towards a renewable energy future, we'll have to rely on these oil and gas companies in order to adopt these green initiatives to make them more environmentally friendly. And as investors, we want to take advantage of the higher commodity price, but we also want to invest in companies that are doing their part to ensure a green future. If you'd like to learn more, I really think you should check out this next video, because in finance, things are always evolving and there's always another opportunity around the corner. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.